Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? We gonna do it like this. Every time you ready, check it. I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8 38s, 9 9s, 10 Mac 10s. The shit's never end. You can't touch my riches, even if you had MC.
Hi Trader, Tina here once again from ShortMeTina.com with my daily recap. So today is Tuesday. We're moving further along in the week. I hope your Tuesday was amazing like mine. And I hope you were very productive. So let's get underway. We have a few things to cover, a few stocks to go over. So again, like I indicate, I will always start off more or less with our mission statement. What is that, right? Our mission statement is to build a powerhouse of successful traders. I know that might sound a little bit cheesy. I know that might sound a tad bit corny, but it's true. Our mission is to build a powerhouse of traders and to help you find more winners. We conclude, if you win, we win. Do I believe this is teachable? 100% I believe this is teachable. But for it to work, as with anything, for it to work, you have to work, meaning if I'm feeding you the information, you have to take the information and actually do something with it, right? That's the only way you're going to see any kind of progress in your trading. That's the only way you're going to see the needle move in many respects, right? It's not one thing to take in the information that I'm teaching, but do absolutely nothing with it. That's not going to help you. So again, we're here to help you out. We want to build successful traders, but at the end of the day, you have to put in the work, right? And you'd be very surprised how a small percentage of people want to put in the work. Majority of folks just want to be they just want to be spoon-fed trade ideas. That's going to get you nowhere fast. It's one of the reasons, this is actually a side note, it's one of the reasons why I discontinued my alerts only service. I thought about it and I said to myself, well, if I'm only providing trade alerts and the person that's receiving the alerts have absolutely no idea what they're doing, then my alerts will be meaningless in my opinion, right? It's one of the reasons why I discontinued and continue to turn away folks who are looking just to get trade ideas. Now, if you've been a trader for, I don't know, several years and you actually have a system and you just want trade ideas from me because you don't want to do the work, that's a completely different story because you will know more or less what to do with my trade ideas. But if you are a trader that has absolutely no system, no method, no money management techniques, and really lack when it comes to that psychological part of trading, then my ideas, I suspect in the long run will do you no good. The goal, and I'm kind of talking a little bit, but the ultimate goal with trading is for you to be independent and not rely on anyone. Hence why my course, I was actually telling one of our new members today, our course really is designed to make you an independent trader. I don't want you to want me after a long time. If you just want to listen to me for entertainment value, absolutely. If you still want to stay connected just for a sense of community, absolutely. But at some point, those training wheels have to come off and you have to really do this on your own. As I've indicated numerous times, successful traders in many respects are independent traders, okay? So take that to heart. So anyway, with all that said, for me to help you out, I need to know really on some levels what's your biggest frustration in reaching your trading goals, right? I knew what my frustrations were when I started out over 15 years ago. What is your frustration? Comment in the comment section. Again, I usually respond to all comments, whether they're good, bad, ugly, etc. I usually respond to all comments. So in the comment section, let me know what's your biggest frustration in reaching your trading goals. And obviously, I'm going to continue linking this because I think this video is super important. It's not one of them of our most viewed videos, not surprising. Going back to a lot of folks wanting to be spoon-fed. I keep saying spoon-fed. That makes no sense. I'm like twisting things. A lot of folks want to be spoon-fed and not really want to put in the work to understand what exactly goes into being a successful trader. And really take this from someone that's been doing this for a very long time, right? Very, very long time. So at any rate, I'm going to link what the 3 pillars are to successful trading in this video if you have not watched it, it is a much watched video. I really think that the information in that video is extremely valuable. So I'm not quite sure how long the video is. It's more than likely under 10 minutes. That's not a huge amount of your time, in my opinion, relative to the information and the knowledge you're getting. All right. So that's that. And before we kick it off with the recap of the overall market, let me welcome you. I tend to just start running without doing the proper salutations or greetings. So if this is your very first time tuning into a ShortMeTina video, I want to say welcome. Comment in the comment section. Let me know that this is your first time and how you found this. And if you are returning, meaning this is not your first time listening to me and you've been listening day in and day out for several months, several weeks. Someone commented and said that they've been listening to me for an entire year. Bless your heart. That's amazing. So if you're returning, I want to say welcome back. I've been talking for quite some time. So let's stop here and get underway with the recap of the overall markets. All right, so we have the S&P 500 SPY daily chart dating back to 2017. So in previous videos, again, you can go and listen to any video I've done for the past several months. There have been multiple levels that we have been paying attention to. In particular, let's call that pivot. I'm calling it a pivot because in various times it was either support or it was either resistance. So we were paying attention to that 280 to 280 line just about 2 weeks ago. We broke that number, right? But immediately within a few trading days, we were actually able to get back above there. So 280 to 282 clocks in here. I took away that line because it's not my primary focus right now. Obviously, it's in the back of my mind, but not my primary focus because we are about 10 points above those, 10 to 12 points above those levels. What I'm paying attention to now, where you see the arrows pointing down, and the purple line would be all-time highs in the SPY. I've been giving it a range. We can call that range 293 to 295. So today we had a nice decent update on relatively decent volume. We went as high as, what was today's high? Went as high as 293.57, pulled back a little bit to close at 292.32. So we actually got into that resistance zone of 293 to 295 and pulled back some. I am expecting at some point for the SPY to retest all-time highs again. All-time highs clocks in at 294.95. Let's just say 295. So a few more points. We're probably now at this point less than 1% away from all-time highs. Hence why I remain bullish overall on the market, or at least leaning more towards the bull side. So going forward again for the remainder of June, which is essentially the last trading month in the second quarter, to begin the third quarter, I would like 100% for the SPY to make attempts at reaching new all-time highs. And if that happens, the bear case, it's a very hard one to argue at this point when the market most recently reached all-time highs in May. And if we do it again, reaching all-time highs in June again, if a stock, or in this particular case an ETF, is reaching all-time highs, that should signal to you that the bulls, in my opinion, are in control. So that's what I'm paying attention to. What else? And then we have the IWM daily chart, also up about 1% on the day, doing fairly well, but comparatively speaking, if you compare it to the SPY, the IWM is clearly underperforming, where the SPY is within about 1% of all-time highs. And I didn't do the math. I should do the math, but I'm going to conclude that you know what? Let me pause this video. I would like to do the math. Hold on. All right, so I'm back. I did the math. So from the close of 154 to all-time highs in the IWM, this particular ETF, of 173.39, the IWM is actually 20 points, which is a lot, relatively speaking, 20 points away from all-time highs and about a little over 12% away from all-time highs. When you compare and contrast that again to the fact that the SPY is actually less than 1% from all-time highs. That, I would say, if there's anything that's troubling to me, it would be that extreme divergence there, where again you have the SPY within 1% of all-time highs, and you have the IWM about 12% from all-time highs, which technically I believe still has it in correction territory. So we definitely need participation from the small caps for things to really get going. So if there's a pause in my bull thesis, this would be the pause. At any rate, shorter term support. Again, shorter term support clocks in at 148 to 150. We've done a great job remaining above that for the past few trading days. Going as high today is 155.15 to ultimately close at 154. So ideally, like I indicated before, I want the IWM drifting away from shorter term support here of 148 to 150, which is held overall for about 4 months. I wanted to drift more towards that 160 mark. I do believe if we penetrate 160, I think that's it, meaning that's it as in the IWM at that point should start to take lead, and I think it can definitely run, even achieve all-time highs, but it can't happen with it sitting down here. We definitely need to get over this major resistance of 160, again a level that we have not really tested or sustained since October of 2018, so it's been a few months, actually approaching a year since then. So that's that for the IWM. What else? All right, and then we have ticker BYND. So off slightly on the day, doesn't tell a complete story in my opinion, but we closed at 169.89. So if you want, you can go back to the video that I did on June 6, 2019. I tend to try to, I don't know. It's been a long day, but anyway, so go back to the video that I did on June 6th, and I indicated that although the stock has ran quite a bit since its IPO low of 45. At the time when I did the video, the stock had closed at around 99.50, and I think it was up a little bit in after hours. I maintained that the stock can potentially get to 150, eventually $200. It took several days to unfold. That happened, going as high as 201.88 and then pulling back. Hence why I think that this slightly down to flat close doesn't tell the entire story, because the stock actually went to 200 today and lost about over 30 points to close at 169.89. Now, on confirming volume, heading into tomorrow, obviously you want to pay attention to the low of today of 160.70. If we break that, things can spiral. While we had something of a pullback a few days ago, it wasn't quite the chasmoclatic pullback. That's the word, chasmoclatic. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. But what I'm trying to get at, it wasn't that intense pullback that I have been anticipating in ticker BYND. Perhaps the intense pullback that I am looking for will happen either heading into tomorrow or next week or some point. Am I still looking to go long this? Absolutely. The fact that it touched 200 indicates to me that there's a possibility this can actually touch 300, but not until it scares a couple of folks. So waiting for that scare, waiting for that pullback, waiting for the opportune time to buy. So keep ticker BYND on your radar, on your watch list. I think if you're patient, you can easily double your money on this particular security. What else? All right, and then we have ticker SNAP. Huge move on the day, up north of 10% to close at 14.86. As I indicated in several videos I've done on Snapchat for a very long time. If you've been listening to me for several months, I've been bullish on ticker SNAP in the longer term. I do believe at some point, whether it's this year or next year, we're going to retest all-time highs of 29.44. I'm just waiting for this stock to become loved once again by Wall Street, and perhaps it's actually gearing up for that. So sitting here at 14.86 with confirming volume, it broke above that level that I spoke about, that resistance level of 12.50 to 13. Let's give it a range. The fact that it broke above there indicated there's a potential for the stock to run. We broke above there and we started that trend up. This is great. So obviously the level to remain above would be $12.50 to $13. If we can remain above there, then Snap is on its way, in my opinion, once again to all-time highs, or rather to retest all-time highs. Full disclaimer, if I haven't mentioned, I am long. I've been long Snapchat for a very long time. Not necessarily the easiest long to hold on to, but overall, I don't want to say that I knew, but I had deep convictions that this stock at some point will turn around, and it's been in an uptrend since December of 2018. And what's an uptrend? An uptrend is characterized by higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So, nice day for Snapchat with volume. Let's just continue to pay attention to this stock. What else? All right, and then we have Zynga really quickly, up marginally on the day, closed at 604. We've retested several times, dating back to May of 2019. We've retested that $6 level, once resistance, now support for the past month. And you know what I say? If a level is tested, whether it's support or resistance, multiple times, the chances of that level being broken increases. Hence why I think Zynga at some point will see a print in the fives, because we continuously retest that $6 level. Now, if $6 breaks, will I become all of a sudden entirely bearish on ticker ZNGA? Absolutely not. Longer term, I still see an $8 target, but not before the stock actually pulls back in a meaningful way. So again, to reiterate, I do see 6 breaking at some point, us being or at some point seeing Zynga trade in the fives. But again, overall, if you can withstand the pullbacks, I still think it's a great stock to long, because I see an $8 price target in 2019, which is a potential upside of 2 or more points. What else? And then we have Spotify off about a little over 1.6% on the day, or north of 2% on the day. We closed at 147.01, but not until it went as high as 151.26, reaching that initial target that I spoke about in my Sunday newsletter. So if we're to go to that, right, let's go to ShortMeTina.com. And if you're not signed up for our emailing list, make sure you head on over to ShortMeTina.com and do that, because every Sunday I release a watch list outlining stocks that I'm paying attention to. Oftentimes, these are stocks that we've been in. So again, like I indicated before, we traded the channel with ticker SPOT, Spotify. We bought at the lower end of the channel. At this point, I'm going to link, but you should already know how to trade a channel if you've been paying attention. Bought at the bought at the lower end of the channel. And I indicated in my in our weekly watch list that Spotify can hit 150 in short order. I released this watch list on Sunday. It's free. I release it every single Sunday. So what happened today? It took some time, but we went as high as 151.26 before pulling back to 147.01, which signified that this channel is being respected, right? The stock is respecting its channel, because when it gets to the upper end, we have the sell-off. Upper end, we have the sell-off. So with Spotify, for things to get going, can it trade above 150? Absolutely. It's on its way to 200, but for that to happen, that's a break above this level here of 150. All right, so keep Spot on your radar, keep it on your watch list, and make sure you sign up at ShortMeTina.com. What else? And then we have ticker MGI daily chart up nicely on the day. Congrats to the bulls, right? Stock is up over 167% on one day with confirming volume. Closed at 388. The high of the day clocked in at 392. So we're not too far off from today's high, which is relatively good. But let's pay attention here to this purple line. We can call that resistance, and we can call that level around $4.20. So if there is more gains to be had tomorrow, I think the stock can go to 420. So that's another 30 cents of upside before it runs into a bit of problems. If it gets above 420, more than likely this stock can run, and you're potentially looking at a $5 stock. But for that to happen, it needs to get above this purple line resistance. We can call that $4.20. What else? All right, and then we have ticker CIFS daily chart up about 50% on the day. We're no longer in this trade, or at least I'm no longer in this trade. We got into this trade back in March when it ran actually entirely. Had a huge run in about 1 or 2 days. It went from a close or a low of $2.30 to a high of around $6.50. I remember us making about 100% on this particular stock. It was on our watch list for a while, as a potential re-entry, but the stock was acting, in my opinion, very lackluster, and so I put it to the side, or I took it off my watch list today. It seems as though it might be having, or it might have some a second wind, signs of life. Again, up about 50% on the day. Closed at 192. The high clocked it at 193. So we're very close to all-time highs. Pardon, not all-time highs. We're very close, or we closed relatively close to the day's high of 193. The only caution is that if you pay attention to volume here, it's not the type of volume that poured in when we had that huge run. So again, you always have to look at volume before you make a move, and also to place the percentage gain into context, in my opinion. So nice move on the day, but is the stock ready to run? I'm not so sure based on volume. Again, I'd like to see more volume pour in, but if it gets above 193, definitely it's a stock to keep on your radar, keep on your watch list. What else? And then we have ticker CTRV daily chart. Huge loser on the day, right? Off about 45%. So if you're long, ouch, I know it hurts. I've been there. Stock closed at $5.30. The low clocked it at $5.11. With confirming volume, like I always say, stocks that shed 45 to 50% in one day is a damaged stock. You really want to stay away from going long. Granted, you'll get your dead cat bounces, meaning you can get 9 to 10% in one day, but overall, as you can see with this particular stock, the trend is down. And as I've indicated from numerous videos, to make your life simple, you want to long stocks that are trending up, stay away or short stocks that are trending down. So sitting here at 5:30 with the low clocking in at 5:11, I'd be paying attention to $5.11, a break below that, and things can get really out of control with this particular security. So for my opinion, bearish in the shorter and intermediate term. What else? All right, and so we have ticker AIHS daily chart off about 42%, similar to ticker CTRV, any stock that's off 40, 50, 30% in one day. Stock is damaged, and for this one, it's damaged on multiple levels, off about 42%. Broke through longer term support of $3.30. We closed at 264 on confirming volume. The low clocked in at 250. So we closed relatively close to the low. So for me, the selling may continue, if not into tomorrow, at some point in this week. So if you're looking to go long and you're on the sidelines, do yourself a favor, find another stock to long. Picking bottoms on stocks that are making all-time lows off about 40-50% in one day, you're just asking for trouble. You're actually swimming against the current or going against the grain, right? You're not following the path of least resistance. Trying to long a stock that's off 42%, in my opinion, is not trading in the path of least resistance. So you kind of don't want to do that. Again, with ticker AIHS, I see more selling. I would stay away. Not because I'm, I have anything vested in this. I'm not long or short. Just based on the chart and what I'm seeing, it's not the best stock to long. What else? And let's round it out with ticker APRN, Blue Apron daily chart off about north of 13% on the day. The stock did a reverse split. So we closed at 712. I'm not really into shorting lower price securities, hence why I wouldn't even bother to short this. But I wouldn't say the writing is on the wall, but based on the fact that the stock did a reverse split, more often than not, and I've seen this play out tons and tons of times, you usually have that initial day of a pop, but then that's usually followed by a great deal of selling. So would I short this? I'm not really into shorting lower price securities. Very risky, so I probably wouldn't. But do I see further downside? Absolutely. But the only sort of, I don't even know if I want to call it a silver lining. At this point, To decide whether or not to go long, and I'd be really cautious with going long here, again, just based on the things that I've said before, but looking at valuation, it's sitting here at $7.12, is valued at, I think, slightly over $1 billion. At this point, I'd probably dig into the financials to see whether or not Blue Apron is potentially a acquisition target. So if you're into reading companies' financials, then you might want to look at the financials, because if it declines a little bit more from a risk-reward perspective, thinking that the stock might be an acquisition target, right, and you might want to quote-unquote gamble, or gamble is not the best word, let's X that word, but if you want to hold it as a speculative pick, thinking it might be an acquisition target, there's a possibility, but you'd have to peer into the financial to determine that. Again, sitting here at 712, it's valued at about $1 billion. Relative to earnings, I'm not quite sure if that's a lot or not. You'd have to do that necessary homework. But based on the chart, I'd stay away because it's acting very bearish. And so that's it, right? Tina here, once again from ShortMeTina.com. If you enjoyed any portion of this video, I'd like for you to do 3 things for me. 1, comment in the comment section. What do you think about Blue Apron? Did you review the financials? Are you long? What do you think about ticker AIHS? Did you get caught on the long side? How about CTRV? Did you get caught on the long side? Snap, Beyond Meat, Zynga, I did a lot. Spotify, the channel. Comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this video. That's the first thing. Secondly, I do videos Monday through Friday. So if you want to hear more like this, ensure that you are subscribed at our YouTube channel at ShortMeTina. Make sure notifications are turned on. That way, when I upload a video, you'll automatically be notified. And lastly, I've been trading for well over 15 years. I think I provide a lot of value behind the scenes. If you think you can learn anything from me, then head on over to ShortMeTina.com. Sign up, become a member. Thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for the support.
This album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from, that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. And to all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby, baby.
Shake it.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke? The hard, you never thought that.